Is the ACC expanding with Stanford, Cal, and SMU? We'll break down the latest here on College Football Now by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here. Thanks for joining us. New developments this morning, courtesy of ESPN College Football Insider Pete Thamel on the potential ACC expansion, saying this. Sources after a weekend of conversations, there's continued momentum towards the ACC adding Stanford, Cal, and SMU. ACC officials are working on gathering the presidents, chancellors on a call, which is expected to take place at some point early this week. Sources caution that nothing is finalized. The details are only in pencil as of now. Expected decision either way this week. Officials are still working specifically on how to divide the pool of money that would split up among ACC members after the three schools join. That amount is expected to be between $50 and $60 million annually. Some of that would be distributed to all members, and the rest would be put into a pool for success initiatives. So now the question becomes, is an additional $50 to $60 million enough to save the ACC for now? Is that going to make everybody happy, adding that pool of cash for the time being? Because here's the deal, okay? That's a short-term solution for a long-term problem. You're still stuck in a grant of rights till 2035 and a bad TV contract with ESPN for that entire time. Meanwhile, the SEC and the Big Ten are banking cash right now, and both of them are going to get a whole nother TV deal before the ACC gets their TV deal, and the Big 12 will as well. So everyone else is going to be making cash while the ACC is sitting here. And those magnificent seven, as they've been referred to as Brett McMurphy, are still trying to find their way out. So sure, you might add a little more cash to the pile for now, but it doesn't solve your solution down the road. So let's ask this. Will the ACC add Cal, Stanford, and SMU? What do you think? Chime into the comment section. Y for yes, N for no. What do you think? Is it going to happen or not? Weigh in. Tell us what you think in the comment section below. Folks, you want more college football videos? Well, here's my challenge to you. If we can get 30 subscribers off today's show, not only are we going to do more conference realignment coverage, but we'll also bring you some college football week-by-week analysis, game previews, counting you down to the college football playoff, cover recruiting, transfer portal, and more. But it's up to you guys. How bad do you want it? Subscribe to the channel now. Let's see if we get 30 subs. If we do, I promise you we'll do more college football coverage on the channel. Stay up to date. Turn on notifications. We got you covered here on College Football Now by Chat Sports. So let's go over 5 things that you need to know where the ACC is at right now. ACC officials are working towards a vote on expansion that could happen this week. We will know one way or the other if those 3 members are joining the league or not. What is the big holdup is 4 specific schools, Clemson, Florida State, North Carolina, and NC State, who are all no votes right now. All the ACC needs is one of those schools to flip to a yes, and they'll have their votes. NC State is holding on with North Carolina, hoping that the 2 stay in lockstep and that they get to go wherever North Carolina goes, because North Carolina in their future is going to have plenty of options, whether it be the Big Ten or the SEC. NC State's hoping that North Carolina drags them wherever they go. So they're kind of in unison at the moment anyway. Meanwhile, SMU, as a new member of the ACC, they are expected to join with no media revenue for the first 7 years they would be in the league. They want in a power conference that bad, and they have a rich endowment. They're going to be okay, but it's that much of a plea to get into a power conference. They're willing to forego that money, put it in the pile to go to other ACC members. Meanwhile, Cal and Stanford, where they stand on the revenue is they're expected to come at a discount at 30% of the media revenue share. So not only is the ACC already 4th in revenue share among the new Big 4 conferences, but Cal and Stanford are only getting 30% of that potentially. And then another factor, a very important point, all 3 schools are expected to join the ACC in all sports. There was rumblings that Cal and Stanford were looking at just football and basketball. but this appears to be all sports members for all three schools going into 2024, this upcoming season next. So with that, this is a desperate move for all parties involved. Okay? It doesn't make anyone more relevant with these moves. SMU, I guess it's a big jump for them to go to the ACC, but in Cal and Stanford's case, all right, you switch from the Pac-12 to the ACC, you got to play all these other schools, and you're taking a whole lot less money. The ACC, on the other end, you're adding three very good academic institutions. Stanford has a great track record in Olympic sports. Sure, you might be able to recruit in the state of Texas now with SMU there in the state of California. You get those short-term games, but your athletic departments, the bread and butter, football and basketball, aren't going to greatly improve with these three schools. This is a desperate move for everybody involved here and is not a situation that's just going to drastically make things better for everybody. More on this in a moment, but first, today's show is presented by BetUS, the exclusive sportsbook partner of Chat Sports. If you go to chatsports.com/bet, enter the promo code CHAT125, you will get a 125% deposit bonus. Put $100 down, you get $125 to spend for free. And folks, I have very good news. We have college football to bet on. Let's get rich, kids. If you go to chatsports.com/bet, you can bet on Thursday night's matchup between the Utah Utes and the Florida Gators. Florida won this game last year. Cam Rising not going to play for Utah. The Gators are 6.5-point dogs on the road in Salt Lake. What do you think? Get your bets in now. You can bet on this game as well as other college football action. The over-under at 45.5. Chatsports.com/bet is the place to get your bets in. Promo code CHAT125 at checkout for this game as well as other college football action. Get your bets in today. Chatsports.com/bet, promo code CHAT125. So more from Pete Thamel of ESPN. He said, after a weekend of conversations, a source told ESPN that the details of a potential additions are only in pencil. But it's trending in the direction of it happening. And this comes on the heels of a couple days ago. There was rumblings that the Big 12 was potentially interested again in Stanford, Cal, as well as Oregon State and Washington State, that they were kind of pushed that way towards ESPN. But Brett McMurphy of Action Network is disputing that, saying despite various reports to the contrary, the Big 12 has not had conversations with any of the Pac-4 schools and has no intention in engaging with these schools, multiple Big 12 sources told. Here's the deal. In today's day and age, in college athletics and college sports, it's either go eat or be eaten. And right now, the Big 12 and the ACC are going for the same space. They are trying to see who can establish themselves as the nation's number 3 conference. Neither one of them are going to be at the SEC, the Big Ten's level, but who can be that number 3 conference? And right now, the Big 12 has totally outmaneuvered the ACC. Even if the ACC pulls off these moves, it doesn't move the needle quite like the moves the Big 12 made. The Big 12 is in a much more superior position of strength. You look at the members since 2021 for the Big 12. You lose Oklahoma and Texas, and what do? You go get 8 new members that now make up half of the league of the 16 with Arizona, Arizona State, BYU, Cincinnati, Colorado, Houston, UCF, and Utah. And here's the thing. Beginning in 2025, with all 8 of those members and the other 8 Big 12 members that are there, everybody's getting a full revenue share close to $32 million, which is more than every ACC school. And you don't have to worry about the partial shares and all that. The Big 12 is in a much better position of strength going forward. The ACC, I think, is still counting on the countdown clock at this point as far as their demise goes. The Big 12 still got a bright future ahead. Who's the better conference? If the ACC makes these moves, who's the better league going forward? Is it the ACC or is it the Big 12? Chime in that comment section. Type B for Big 12. Type A for ACC. Let us know in the comment section which way or another you feel of who the better league is going forward. Subscribe to the channel. We got you covered talking college football. I'm so excited that we have A lot of games coming up. Week 1 finally here. We'll talk about it here on the channel. Stay tuned. We'll have you covered. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for joining us here in College Football Now.